39 of the launch to our platform coming up, our Boss Talent Employee platform coming up. Hopefully, we're looking at just a couple months away. We're on day 39, so looking forward to that. Just a quick update on that. I continue to get the updates as they're building it out, the platform. Once again, if you haven't heard about it, we're taking the benefits, the alignment, the just the alignment between a company, the boss, the leadership style with a potential job candidate. And so we're changing, we're disrupting what is being done now, where it's basically a needle in a haystack. People go and they go on these job boards looking for jobs, and the stats say 3% actually are successful. Maybe it's more, maybe it's not as much. That's what I saw. So, but either way, we all know, and from all the business owners I talk to, that it's very hard to find that person, that employee you're looking for to fill that spot in the company that hopefully you are very passionate about and you want to succeed. So we're creating the findacoolboss.com. So you're finding a cool boss. If you have a cool boss, that means you like your boss, you like the leadership, you like the growth, you like the development, you like that company cares about you, and then therefore you care about the company. It becomes part of you. And to become that A employee, I guess you could say, it becomes part of who you are. Not that you bring your work home, but that when you're there, when that company, when something good happens, you feel great about it. When something not so good happens, you feel bad about it. You say, how can I contribute to fix it? That, I think, as all business owners or business leaders, that's what we would want in all of our employees. Now, it's our job as the owners, as the leaders, to create that culture that really prepares people for that. And how do you do that? I was just talking to someone today at a networking event, and we were talking about how the best employee would be the employee that aligns with the company's values, purpose. I think more than anything, who the company serves, why they serve that, their clients or what have you, and then the employee themselves say, "Look, I'm totally digging that. I'm in on that," and so. We want all of them to be like that. We don't want to have to micromanage. I mean, day after day, I'm hearing stories from both employees and from business leaders. Well, I don't really hear too much from the business leaders. I hear how they're tired of putting out fires and babysitting employees and stuff. And to my ears, I'm like, well, whose fault is that? I mean, just because somebody might be lazy at their job at a certain company doesn't mean that they're a lazy person per se. It just means they're not aligned with that role, possibly the role. Maybe they would be do better and perform better and be more motivated in a different role in the company. So it's not always that. But that's part of the hiring process. And if you do some of the trainings with us, you'll see that I'll dig deeper into, we'll dive deeper into different topics such as hiring, and not getting crazy about it, but just things. Hiring really shouldn't be a complex thing. And nowadays, it's coming down to more of what am I working with here? What kind of person am I working with? Yes, they have the basic skills necessary to fulfill a role, but really, is this a person that is going to be, for lack of a better word, trainable? They already have the character, they have the self-discipline, they have the motivation. And that person I was talking to today was like, well, that's great, you hire self-motivated people. But what about the ones that are already at your company that aren't self-motivated? And I would say, well, number one, ideally, you wouldn't have hired those people to begin with, and now, but they're already there. The culture is going to now create the expectations. And when you change the culture, so if I walk into a company and they're lacking morale, they're lacking productivity, there's too much, toxic stuff going on, and they're just not synced, and they're not really being as productive as they could be. And then therefore the company is suffering. You have to do a revamp. You have to do a makeover and say, hey, look at guys, and you start from what you're working with and say, this is what our company stands for. This is why we do what we do. I don't know if any of you, knew that. Maybe you didn't know why I created this company or I started this company or why I got involved with this company, but this is the story. And this is why we do it, and this is why we do certain things, because this is what we care about the most. These are our values. This is our vision for the future. And then, really what you need to do then is create that culture, that environment where the people either they're gonna be like, you know what, whoa, I never knew. Okay, I'm gonna step it up. That's what's expected. I love it here. I didn't know, that we could get more productive, whatever the case is. They're either gonna take that road or they're gonna be like, no, no. What do this is stupid. I'm just here to do a job. I'm not here to be friendly with anybody, kind of attitude. And then you're going to know what you're going to do with those types of employees. So, but really, bottom line is you got to start now. You got to start now. You got to start thinking ahead. This is where I want the company to go. And then you don't have to be the owner. You could just be one of the leaders in a leadership role. This is where the company needs to go. And if you don't know where the company is going, or you don't know who the company really, pulling back the onion, peeling the onion, saying, we're not just selling this. As the old saying goes, nobody goes to buy a drill, they go to buy a hole in the wall. So the drill is just the tool to get that hole in the wall. So you got to peel the onion back. But either way, that has to be expressed, that has to be conveyed in many different ways. And those are different training videos that I'll do in the future as well, on YouTube and in our Facebook group, our private Facebook group, which, by the way, if you're watching me on the YouTube channel, great. Coolest boss ever. Well, you know what? Also, and I hate that, we're going to switch social media here, but we also have our private group, which we just relaunched, Society of Coolest Bosses Ever. So there'll be some cool stuff in there, and we'll do some stuff back and forth. So it's a great way to just communicate in different ways with people. That being said, so really cool, a lot of things coming. The thing is growing, the platform is growing. Right now, my main focus really is on getting the Coolest Boss Ever mission out there to business owners. So that I have many ideas I'm looking at right now. I'm talking with people that also have expertise as well. And we're just going to get the word out there. And we want to make it so that, we want to create that FOMO, the fear of missing out. We want companies to start getting worried if they're not stepping up their employee culture and their employee work environment to produce a better workplace, which then therefore obviously benefits the company. When your people are happy, when your employees are happy, your team is happy, well, you know what? They're going to perform better. And you still have to guide them. You have to train them. You have to develop them. You have to support them. You're growing this team. You're not building it so much. You're not creating it so much. You're growing it. We all grow. And if your people aren't growing and you're not offering those opportunities, well, what doesn't grow dies. It doesn't stay the same. So eventually it's going to keep deteriorating. So get on that. One really cool thing that I wanted to bring up in today's video was I got this idea. I was reading a book, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you the title because I read about 2 to 3 books every week. Love reading books, many different topics, but it's always got to do with how people think and all of those things. And that being said, this is our regular one of our business cards for the Coolest Boss Ever, for the movement, the website. But on the back, I had these new ones made. Very cool. Coolest Boss Ever Award, MVP. And I got this idea of a cool little book, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. When you're into employee culture, customer, satisfaction, customer care, when like I am, obviously I consult businesses on building and growing their employee culture. So how do you do that? Well, you got to start with the seeds, right? You gotta make it, fertilize it in a sense where you gotta, help it grow, for lack of a better analogy. But anyways, that's what I always look for. I have a friend of mine, he's a painter. He specializes in ceilings. Everywhere he goes, he's looking up at the ceiling because he's a pro. That's his thing. That's his shtick. You have yours. I'm sure there's certain things. I'm also obviously a self-defense instructor for over 30 years. And so do you think every movie that I watch, action movie, I'm analyzing the choreography of the fight scenes? Oh, that's not real. And I get it, but sometimes it looks really cool. You take like Jason Bourne or Reacher or someone like that. Wow, that's some cool choreography. But then you see some stuff that's just horrible, and like, who did they have for a consultant there? Either way, when we're really into something, we tend to analyze it, and we tend to really pay more attention to it. I pay attention to the training that comes across to me as a consumer. So whether I'm driving through a drive-through getting a coffee, or I'm in a store, or I'm in a restaurant, things they say, and I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm like, you know, analyzing them with a magnifying glass, but just certain things they say, certain things they do, just the vibe I get from them. And sometimes you just get blown away and like, wow, it's refreshing when you get someone that is professional, they say the right things, you know, and the experience is just like, wow, that's, you know, extraordinary. It's extraordinary. All right. So, and keep in mind, that's what extraordinary means. It's extraordinary. I think from my experiences, once again, going out for breakfast or what have you, you know, you usually have just an average, okay, cool, breakfast was great. No, it could be better because of the company you're with or what have you, but it was good. It was good. And that's a satisfied customer. And for the most part, most people will be satisfied. And what that means by satisfied is you met their expectations for the value and the cost that you charge them. So if you charge them a certain amount of money and it was satisfying to them, there's the exchange, everything's cool. But they're not raving, they're not extraordinary. And then, of course, you always remember when you have a bad time. You know, you could go to a restaurant 50 times and every time was great, and then you go there one time and it was like just not good. Are you going to go again? Now you're thinking twice, even though you had 50 good ones and one negative one. Now you're thinking twice. Maybe I'll try this other place. That's how powerful this stuff is. But the coolest boss ever MVP award is an idea, and that is just and you know, you might think this is corny or something, but really, think about that. You're in a business, and there's an employee, and they're serving you in some way, whether they're handing you a coffee or they're asking you if you need help in the aisle finding something. But when you get that vibe and you're like, wow, this person was just polite, they were enthusiastic, you could tell that they took their job serious, they weren't whining, you know, in the next aisle over to the other worker saying, oh, I have to work extra tonight because so-and-so called out. You know, it was just a good and extraordinary experience. I wanted to be able to approach them because I don't want to be one of those people like, wow, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate. But seriously, how often do they get that? They're doing, you know, for every 100 times they do something good for a customer, the one time something doesn't work out, even if it's not their fault, they got to deal with the negativity, right? Well, I wanted to be able to just say, hey, look, I just got to tell you something. You know, thank you for helping me out, or I overheard you. And I just wanted to just spotlight that and say, look, you know, I'm a business employee culture consultant. You know, I consult businesses on building and growing their employee cultures to, you know, to be awesome. And what I just saw from you was just really extraordinary. And I just wanted to hand you, I have these cool little cards. There's my card, coolest boss ever. I look and I help build the coolest bosses ever. You know, maybe you have one, the way you are, whatever. But I just wanted to give you this card as a reminder of the day I saw that. Coolest boss ever award, MVP, best service. Here you go. Boom. Now, if a person gave me that vibe and that experience, they're going to appreciate something like this. It means they take their job serious with a smile. If they're just like, yeah, that was stupid, and they throw it, chances are they didn't do anything extraordinary anyways with that kind of attitude. But imagine that. What am I also doing? It's also got my, you know, my website, my contact information on the front of it. Those are the type of people I might hire in the future because I can train them to do my stuff. I mean, it's, you know, what I offer is trainable. They don't have to go to college. They don't have to be necessarily some big certification or whatever. I can train them personally, and I train leaders, all right? So that is the type of person that now is saying, wow, I feel good. Maybe they step up, they become more ambitious and say, wow, maybe that's the push they needed to challenge themselves to you know, go above and beyond and find a better job even, or whatever it is. But either way, I thought this was the coolest thing. I can't wait to hand out. I just got them today. I can't wait to hand one out. You know, I don't want to, you know, look like a weirdo or something going up to someone. So I got to make sure it's smooth and pretty, you know, just pretty simplistic and just like, man, you know, the way you just treated that person, the way you just, you know, as an associate, this is what I do. So just give them a little credibility on my part. And I just got to hand you one of these, man, and, you know, put it in your room or whatever. And just every time you think of that, think about what a great job you did. All right, cool. Whoa. Now I do this with my team. I don't ever hand them a card like this, but the things I say, the things I do, just the way I make them feel. The coolest boss ever was never about you're the coolest boss ever. It's not about what you did for them so much. It's how they feel. And how do your employees feel? How do the people that you lead feel when they go home? Whenever your name comes up, how do they feel? So this is some cool stuff, guys. Stay tuned. We're on day 39, so I'm going to get out one of these videos. We got more updates coming up. Before we know it, the platform's going to be ready. But I'm looking for the coolest boss ever. So if you are a leader, or you are in a leadership role, organization, company, whatever, and you want to take your leadership skills to a whole nother level. And one thing I always tell myself, you don't know what you don't know. I've been doing leadership type, stuff for over 30 years, teaching all sorts of people of all ages. And believe me, I teach 3-year-olds. I can get them to focus for 35 minutes straight, maybe even longer. So which for a 3-year-old, that's incredible, right? If you can do it for a 3-year-old, you can do it for an adult employee. So stay tuned. Check out the subscribe to our website. Hit the bell. Get your notifications in every time I post a new video. Also, check out the coolestbossever.com, because that will give you links to the pledge that we have available for you for your website. The leadership pledge badge that you can put on your website. You can do the Cool Boss Factor quiz evaluation, see where your strengths and weaknesses are as a leader, and just a lot of cool things. And you can also access the Facebook group, which is a private Facebook group. No boss holes allowed, as I say. So a couple questions you answer real quick, yes, no, whatever. Boom, we'll get you in and we'll start sharing stuff just like I'm doing here. But something like that, you can comment here, we can share, but also there. So very cool stuff. I will see you soon.